Social media, it's part of our lives. It connects us with people that we wouldn't normally be able to reach. So many positive things come out of having technology at our fingertips. But social media is a double-edged sword. There's a dark side to sharing your life online. Sometimes we need to unplug. And remember, what we do online can have a ripple effect into the real world. Deadly Deep Dives. This video is intended for educational and documentary purposes. The content within this video contains themes that some individuals may consider triggering, offensive, or disturbing. The intent is not to disrespect viewers or any individual spoken about herein. Viewer discretion is advised. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you've never been here before, my name is Kimberlea. Nice to finally meet you. Before I get into anything else, I'd like to thank our awesome sponsor for today's video, and as a thank you from you to them, all I ask is that you give me just a minute of your time for me to introduce them to you. And if what I say interests you, then it helps me so very much for you to take the time, click the link below in my description box, and show some love to the sponsor that's working with me yet again, Fetch. Fetch Rewards is super easy to use. It's a free app where you earn rewards on literally anything you buy. I use this app every day. I never used to ask for physical receipts, and now I always do everywhere that I shop, and I can't wait to scan each and every one and collect all of my points to use them on things like Starbucks. Fetch works with any retail receipt from anywhere, even your Amazon e-receipts. Yes, you can link your Amazon account and your email to earn points from online purchases. Every time you scan a receipt, the points add up, and they add up pretty quickly, and then you can redeem those points for hundreds of rewards, including Amazon and Visa gift cards. Fetch Rewards is super easy to use. It only takes a few seconds, and you can do it right from your phone. I'm going to quickly show you how. I'm redecorating this entire set, and I'm making it look really awesome, so I just took a trip to HomeGoods. I can't wait for you to see this beautiful red velvet chair that I got, and here's my receipt. To scan it, you just open up the Fetch app, go to the camera button, take a picture of the receipt. You have to make sure that the store name, the total you spent, and the date are in frame. You'll know it's right if all three are checked off, as you can see here. If the receipt is long, you can keep snapping pictures of each part until you have all the required information. Then click Submit, and that's it. Now Fetch will give you points for each receipt you scan, and those points turn into gift cards, and I use all mine on Starbucks. It's a guilty pleasure. And I'm close to earning my next one very soon. Here are my current points. The reward options are great because they're actually from good stores. For example, look, here's Sephora. Fetch was nice enough to give all of you 3,000 points just for scanning your first receipt. All you have to do is click the link in my description box, use the code KIMBER with a Y. I'll put it up here on the screen. And as some of you pointed out last time, Fetch will only work in select countries, so keep that in mind. So thanks in advance for downloading the free Fetch app, and thank you to Fetch for making this deep dive video possible. Now let's get into the case for today. I know I just did that whole spiel, but before we get into this video, there's something else I need to get off my chest because I went through so many emotions during this case. I started researching this case all the way back in December of last year, and originally I was going to do the video then, but I just kept putting it off while I kept going deeper and deeper into the case, gathering more and more information. As I was researching it recently, and this is what delayed this video because I kept telling you I'm going to be doing shorter ones in between my deep dives, I stumbled upon some information that really bothered me. I could not believe the amount of victim blaming and the hatred and absolute cold-hearted portrayal toward this victim. I can tell you with 100% honesty from the bottom of my heart, I was getting physically ill reading some of the comments that I saw, and these were all over, especially for men. This case specifically is a man that killed a woman, siding with a killer over anything that somebody does wrong. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're annoyed by someone. I don't care if you don't like their face. I don't care if you just don't like their lifestyle. Siding with a person who decides to end someone's life will never be okay with me. It will never be okay on this channel. I don't think it should be okay anywhere. They say not to speak ill of the dead. It's not even about that. It's about being a human being. So I hope this video can be louder, can be more widespread, so that more people will see this video than the things that are online blaming this woman for her life being taken from her. And above all else, I hope this video can help people understand that is not the narrative. Women who are in toxic relationships on account of choices that a man makes don't deserve to be killed, period. Although it's never one person's choice, and I understand that, there are many different sides to a story. And the one I'm going to tell you is the one in which someone decided to kill someone else because they didn't know how to solve or resolve a problem that they created and continue to perpetuate. So if I get heated, this is why. Because the things I'm going to show you are going to trigger you, especially if you are a woman, and especially if you're a woman of color. It's going to trigger the F out of you. I would be surprised if this case doesn't. My job on this channel is to help victims' memories go on and to tell their stories and expose the evil that walks this earth, and to expose situations to teach you things that maybe we could avoid, or even things that happen in certain situations. It's going to be a long video. Some of this is going to be hard to hear. Some of this is going to be unbelievable to you. You'll think, can people really be saying this? Because that's what I was thinking. I said it has to be fake, but it's not. We'll get there, but first, I want to do what I always do. I want to introduce you to who I'm speaking about today, and that's Renita Williams. Last week, I posted on my community tab that I was having a hard time getting through this case, and that's true. This one was very difficult for me to research. The more I got into it and got to know Renita, the more painful it was for me. It was painful to realize the impact that her death had on so many levels, and I'm sure it's going to impact you as well. I didn't realize how much I was going to learn and how much I was going to have love for Renita. I want to introduce you to her now, and there is so much to learn. I could go on for hours and hours and dig deeper and deeper because I'm feeling like I got to know her so well. And the reason why is because she posted a lot of what she was thinking and doing on social media, Facebook in particular. I went through each and every one of her Facebook posts from 2016 through April of 2018. She's a lot like me. She's probably a lot like you. If you're looking for a quick synopsis, this is not the video for you. I'm going in depth. I'm going to read you her posts. I want to get into what she was feeling, who she was as a person. I want to honor her memory. And the only way I know how to do that is to tell you everything that I learned. Not only that, I'm going to have Dr. Das come on. He's a forensic psychiatrist. He's been on my channel before because I really wanted to have someone analyze some of Renita's posts so that we can dive into her mindset. We're never going to know deep down inside who someone is, even when they're putting so much of their life online. But we have a tendency to learn more than we usually would about a stranger if they do put a lot of what they're going through online. You can't know me from what you see online. You can only make assumptions. And then you can decide whether you like me or not, whether you connect with a person or not. Regardless, you won't truly know anyone unless you really sit down with them face to face. However, I do feel like enough of a picture was painted by Renita's own words. She was smart. She was wise. She liked to help people. She knew how to express herself. If you don't read into her posts, you might just think that they're mindless ramblings, but they're not. She had messages for people. She had advice to give, and she was in emotional pain. She had no problem exposing her heart. She wore her heart on her sleeve and on Facebook for the world to see. Thankfully, we have that. You don't always get to see everything playing out, but in this case, you do, until the very last moments of her life. That's the number one reason I wanted to cover this case, because we all live on the internet in one way or another. Someone like me probably shares more than you do. With access to people's world through social media comes this door that opens into people's lives that we wouldn't otherwise be able to step through. It can be a double-edged sword. The more vulnerable you are, the more you put out there, the more people know where your weaknesses are, the more someone that wants to hurt you can exploit those weaknesses. And they have more of an opportunity to do so. Even though social media is not real, it's not our real life. It's in our lives. It's a part of our lives. And that makes it real. What happens on social media affects us whether we want it to or not. And I know firsthand, we've all made mistakes. We've said things that we didn't mean. So before you judge anything that I'm about to tell you about Renita, just know that none of us are perfect. We hurt, we love, we try. So I ask you to open your heart and your mind, stay here with compassion, stay with understanding. The event in this case unfolded in 2018 when Renita was 27 years old. But this case really doesn't start in 2018. That's where it ended. I only have Facebook posts from 2016 to 2018. There's a lot of things that I've gathered that can piece things together, but all of this was put into motion 5 years before Renita's death. And everything that unfolded got Renita to the place she was in April of 2018 when her life was ended. One of the things I really love about Renita was that she loved food. And I could totally relate to the things that she would post about food. She would randomly post things like crawfish with extra lemon pepper, please. I just smiled when I read things like that because it reminded me of things that I would post and my friends would comment on. Or lemon pepper crab legs hit the spot. Now back to bed I go. I just don't know about you, but it's relatable. Hot bubble bath, diving into a king size. Who doesn't love that? This one on Snapchat stories said, beef chicken ranch with extra cheese. Girl loves her extra cheese. And that made me smile. It's the little things. It's the little things that actually make me sad. I could just tell what she enjoyed. And not only that, I loved posts like this one. Live, fun, drink, laughter. That's all that matters. And I have to agree. I might think that there's more that matters in life, but if you put it all together, you're living your life. You're always having fun. Renita had 3 absolutely beautiful children. A daughter, Jadaria, known as Jada, who was a teenager at the time. Her son, Rodriguez, he was 7, and she called him King. And her baby girl that was only 4, her name is Demaya. She wasn't with the father of her children, but she gave her children everything. You can tell how much she loved them. She put her family first, her whole family, especially her mom and her favorite cousin, Trina. Renita and Trina's moms were sisters, and they were closest cousins. They were basically like sisters themselves. Anywhere one was, the other one would be there. And I absolutely love their relationship. Throughout all my research, it was clear to me how much they love and respected each other. They were so lucky to have one another. Sometimes it's only once in a lifetime that you connect with someone as much as these two connected. They did everything together. Going to parties, spending time with family, and Renita would post about everything. She would post about her children a lot. Just look how immaculate they were always dressed. She took the time, and not just for one of them, but for all 3 of them. Her son with his teacher at school, the little pajama day. She even went out of her way to get family photos made. And I just can't get over how beautiful these pictures are, how she matched everyone, the jeans, the shirts, the shoes. She was just so creative. And it may not be your taste, and that's fine. We all have our own style, and that's what makes us unique. You should embrace it just like Renita did. At the time, Renita brought in money in a variety of ways, some of which were not legal, and others you may not agree with. I learned a long time ago that it's not really my place to worry about how someone else makes their money because I can't control it or change it, and it really doesn't concern me. That's their choice. She was just starting somewhat of an interior decorating business, and here's a post about her feeling great that she's bringing in money doing something she loved. A lot of times, Trina would help her out. When Renita was doing something like painting walls or putting up wallpaper, or she wanted a second opinion, Trina was there. Renita supposedly, according to what I read, did bring in money from drug sales. I do not know the extent of her involvement, but she was arrested for this activity during the time frame that we will be discussing. But it's not really that relevant. Another way that she brought in money was gambling, playing cards. She was really good at it. And because of all this, she stayed decked out in nice clothing and she gave the same to her children. Her friends called her a fashionista. And Renita actually had a nickname related to all of this. It was Nunu. Miss Nunu, as you can see in her Facebook URL. It came out of the word new, N-E-W, like new clothing, because that's what she was known for. She was always in fashion. She was always wearing the cutest clothes. She was well put together, and her children were too. I'm going to be showing you pictures on the screen, but if you're not looking, just imagine everything matching perfectly from head to toe. When it came to her children, they didn't look like they had a hair out of place. And Renita was always changing her look. She went from black hair to pink hair to blonde hair, all different styles. I've done that in my past as well. Don't do much of it anymore, but I love that. I love the chameleon uniqueness, just changing up your look, being a different person, or at least feeling like you're expressing yourself in many different ways, not wasting a minute, but doing exactly what you want and looking exactly the way you want to look. That's what she did. She was confident. It's like nobody could tell her otherwise. She's going to do whatever she wants. She just had a knack for making everything look its best. She could turn like a dull apartment into something that looked expensive. And you can tell just how creative she was by looking at her makeup, her hair, her clothes. So Miss Nunu, she had it all. So many people adored her. They looked up to her, almost, I wouldn't say worshipped her, but they wanted to be her. That's why she amassed a pretty big following. If you think about the facts, this was 2016. She had 5,000 friends on Facebook and was getting anywhere from 1,000 or more people that were tuning into her live streams way back then. So some people would consider that viral. She was really an OG influencer, and she had all the components: the looks, the personality, the humor, the well put together style, the lifestyle, the motherly love, the awesome family all around her to support her, and her really great friends. The only thing that was a little bit unstable was her love life, specifically her relationship with her on again, off again boyfriend. Maybe you can't even call him that. And his name is Jonathan Robinson. We're going to dive into that relationship and everything that unfolded in just a few minutes. She may not have had Jonathan by her side at all times, but there was one thing that she never left behind, and that was her phone. I know a lot of us are attached to our phones, but everyone that knew Renita knew she wouldn't go anywhere without it. Not only that, she was always on it. She loved to share everything. And some may say that she overshared, especially back then when people weren't really doing it like they are now. She would share what she was doing, what she was eating, food pictures, pictures of new outfits, hanging out with friends, and she would live stream a lot. If there was something that she needed to say, she was bold. She would call people out if they were being ungrateful or nasty, or if she just felt like she needed to express the way that she felt in that moment. Sometimes this can be taken the wrong way, as though maybe you're starting something, or it might showcase things about your personality that rub people the wrong way when your intentions aren't exactly what it seems. I've been there. Live streaming is not the best way to express yourself in the moment because sometimes we talk before we think. She was always there to tell her truth, and people really admired that. Not everyone's that bold to step up and be themselves, to be their authentic self, because they know they're going to be judged. It's not easy to find someone that's truthful almost to a fault. At the time, Renita was living in Caddo Heights. This is a small community in the city of Shreveport, Louisiana. It's on the Red River in northern Louisiana. This is an urban area, and unfortunately, it's known to have a lot of crime and poverty. Renita was trying to live different, to rise up. She was a hard worker. She would lift up those around her, and if anyone needed anything, she was there. She was a role model for how to better yourself, even though maybe she wasn't perfect. A lot of times, people couldn't wait to turn into her lives because of her humor as well. Just the way that she would light up a room and her smile and her cute little Louisiana accent. There's a downside to social media, and all of us know it, and Renita knew it. She was in it. She was experiencing it. Experiencing the hate and the trolls. I don't know if it's gotten better or worse, but it existed back then just the same. And she said this: People will hold anything against you. That's why if it ain't God or my mama, I don't pick up the phone or tell or ask nobody shit. It means she's not going to pay attention to people who are not appreciative of who she is. She doesn't have time for it. She loves her mom, who is the closest person to her. She believes in God. She probably only cares about how God would judge her. I really think she was striving to do right in her life, being the best version of herself. In December of 2016, there was a post that went up. She said, "It's a must that I go drop my stuff off at the Angel Tree. If anyone has anything that they want to contribute, please let me know. Inbox me, please. Thank you." To me, this shows Renita's heart. She knows the struggle of being a single mom. She knows the struggle of being in poverty. If she had enough to give to others, she would do it. And she was doing that on Christmas for children that didn't have anything. By sharing it on social media, it didn't come off as bragging to me. It didn't seem like, hey, look at me, I'm doing charity. It was more like follow in my footsteps. She was encouraging people to think and to take action. But there was something brewing underneath all the positivity in Renita's life, possibly a point of insecurity for her. I don't know for sure, and that's why I have Dr. Das here, because he can analyze some of the things and pick through them so that maybe we can get better insight on what was going on. Nevertheless, any man would have been lucky to have Renita by his side. But there was one man that Renita wanted by her side. He was indecisive about whether or not he wanted Renita in his life. At least 100%. I'm estimating here, but I think they met somewhere around 2013 or 14. I do not know the exact date, but she started seeing Jonathan Robinson. I think he's about 10 years older than Renita. She could have seen him as more stable, even as a father figure, or someone that was just a little bit more mature, who she could have in her life to support her and help her grow. Sometimes we do look up to people who have a little bit more life experience that might have something that they could teach us. Jonathan grew up in Shreveport, but in 2018, he did move 4 hours away to Texas. But before this, they had been seeing each other on and off for 5 years. That's a long time. Their relationship had a lot of push and pull. One of them would get mad, the other one would get mad, one would get jealous, and it would just go back and forth. Some would call this a toxic relationship. There wasn't anything set in stone. There wasn't anything stable. It was all over the place. One of the reasons why was because Jonathan already had a girlfriend a year before he even met Renita. Her name is Sharika Taylor. She goes by Rika, so that's how I'm going to be referring to her. Rika was Jonathan's main girlfriend, if you will. 1 year after he started dating Rika, he had Renita come into his life somehow. But Renita and Jonathan started to hook up. All you need to know is that Rika was in the picture before Renita, and she seemed to be around Jonathan's age, older than Renita, more stable, and kept Jonathan on the right path. Rika must have seen some potential in him, so she would guide him away from drugs, cheating, and living that life, and instead getting a legal job, being a family man, and committed to only her. Some men find this attractive, kind of like a mother figure. However, there's other personalities that could be competing with this stable version of a woman, and that personality type was Renita's. Maybe you could call it lust, but Renita was the opposite of Rika. She was fun, she was carefree, unique, popular, and that excitement can be intoxicating. Jonathan didn't want to lose either one of these women. He had chemistry with both of them. I wanted to share a short video of Renita and Jonathan together so that you could see the dynamic between them. I also want you to listen to the words Jonathan says.
Women are the winners.
I ain't gonna say all men and women. I'm gonna say men my winning though. The
Okay.
niggas out
Okay.
there,
Well, 10 dudes winning. Okay.
like a motherfucker.
Oh, let them tell it.
Yeah, we winning.
Yeah, let y'all tell it.
We don't know how to lose. We don't even take losses good at nothing. I mean at nothing.
But anyway, y'all know what him for, women. We already know what him for.
What?
Okay. Nothing. What?
Exactly.
To
nothing.
be on stage.
Nothing.
To be on top.
Exactly. Nothing.
To be on top.
Fuck with a nigga out of 10 2. You done. Game fucking over.
Yep, it's game over. There's no way Jonathan is going to lose. Jonathan doesn't like to lose. And we're going to learn the extent he will go to in order to win.
Hello, cruel world. My name is Dr. Shaham Das. I'm a consultant forensic psychiatrist based in London, and I'm also a YouTuber. So this is my psychoanalysis of this tragic case. First of all, I'd like to take a look at Jonathan. So we know that Jonathan is charming to a degree. We know that initially, at least, Renita's family and friends really liked him. But he also had an element of manipulation on top of this charisma. So he was both controlling and manipulative. So they're quite similar, but they're not exactly the same thing. Somebody who's controlling is directly threatening and they force their victims into behaving a certain way. Whereas if they're manipulative, then they're a bit more sneaky. They kind of control the behavior by cutting off options for the victim. And these things are very common in toxic relationships.
I think Rika felt like she had this power over Renita because she came first. I also want to be understanding of the different people in this situation. We've all been in certain situations in relationships where maybe we feel like we're not being treated respectfully or the way that we deserve. That is the way that Rika felt in this situation, and Renita did too. Renita seemed like she always wanted to prove Rika wrong constantly, and she would do that by making sure Rika knew that Renita was still in the picture. I think something people fail to realize as I'm reading the victim blaming online is that Renita was only 22 years old when she met Jonathan. That's really young. In the beginning, when Jonathan and Renita first met, everyone around them thought they made a really great couple. They just seemed like they were both really into each other. And she was completely taken by him. She was infatuated with him. He was everything to her. Everyone around Renita knew about Jonathan, and everyone thought that they were going to be together forever, especially because of how long they were together. If it's a casual thing, it usually ends pretty quickly, but not their relationship. I'm not sure everyone knew about Rika, but the thing is, the two women eventually knew about one another. Both of them really wanted to lock Jonathan down. Even if Jonathan was playing around, Renita was committed to him. And Rika thought that she deserved Jonathan all to herself. I can't tell you why Rika would still be involved in this non-exclusive relationship if she wasn't okay with it. Why not leave him if after all these years he still can't commit? And that goes for both women. I was thinking maybe it's something that Rika and Jonathan agreed on, or maybe she just knew she wouldn't be able to stop him. So she had to be okay with it if she wanted to be with him. But as a matter of fact, she wasn't okay with it. And as time went on, she was less and less okay with this situation. And of course, there's reasons why.
The other thing I would say about Jonathan that really stands out to me in terms of personality traits is he's very entitled, right? So he openly flaunts having multiple relationships, but he becomes jealous when Renita does the same thing. The other thing that I would say is that victims often feel trapped inside a toxic relationship. And this is because the perpetrators are very good at cutting off their other options. So for example, they prevent them from seeing friends and family, they stop them socializing, and extreme cases, sometimes they even stop them working. So why do they do this? Why do the perpetrators act in this way? It's all about decreasing the victim's social network, so the victim becomes more reliant on them. So they remove the victim's autonomy, and sometimes they even remove the person's earning potential. Why? It's because all of this makes the victim more kind of connected and enmeshed with them and makes them feel more isolated and withdrawn from the rest of society, which actually makes it harder for them to leave this relationship. So people often ask, how could somebody let this happen? Often people can't imagine that they would ever be in this situation. And what I would say to that is you have to appreciate that it's usually a very slow process. It's kind of akin to grooming. So it happens very gradually over time. It's like the analogy of the slowly boiling frog. So the frog doesn't realize that the water around him is getting hot and that he's getting boiled to death because it happens so slowly.
I also think Renita tried really hard to act like it wasn't a big deal, that she wasn't hurt. Jonathan would come around. He would spend time sort of being maybe a father figure to her children, and they would have these moments together. And in those moments, she would get his undivided attention, but then he would just up and leave back to Rika. According to her family and her Facebook posts, Renita would hold it inside. She would hold her tongue, she would swallow her pride, and just kind of let it happen. She would also busy herself with work. And I think this is one of her defense mechanisms. I'm not a professional, but she would just tell him, oh, you know what? Like, it's okay. I got a lot of stuff to do anyway. I don't need you around. But deep down inside, I think we can tell that her feelings were hurt. She just didn't want anyone to see her vulnerability. She acted strong on the outside, but the people closest to her knew that there was so much more to that. And her posts were really back and forth. I spent a lot of time analyzing them, and I've chosen certain ones to share that I feel like are the most relevant. So I'm going to do that now. On December 9th, 2016, she wrote, please stop wasting my time because I don't hold anything. This isn't layaway. You can't decide, oh, I want to kind of pay for this as I go. And I agree. Don't wait around for someone. If you can't really unpack what she's saying, Jonathan, pick one. Stop wasting both of our times. Then the next day, she posts that she's single and ready to mingle. And that to me just means, you know what? I'm sick of it. And I want Jonathan to see this post so that he thinks I'm done, which would eventually make him chase her because she really couldn't say no to Jonathan no matter what her post said. And it was the same for him. So as you can see, one might say she really did air her dirty laundry online. These are public posts. You don't have to be her friend to see them. So Rika saw these. It's kind of hard not to get your feelings involved. I don't think any of us could hold back, at least feeling sad, especially with looking at someone as beautiful as Renita. There's got to be times when Rika saw these posts and it made her jealous. However, besides that video I showed you, I didn't see any pictures of Jonathan and Renita together. They could have been deleted later on, I'm not sure. But I did see pictures of Jonathan and Rika. I'm assuming that what he shared with Renita was probably different than what he shared with Rika. Maybe she let him live out his fantasies and Rika didn't. Whatever it was, Jonathan would represent Rika as his main girlfriend and would portray what he had with Renita as just a casual thing. Jonathan would spend time with Renita on the weekdays, and then on the weekends, Renita would go out on the town with her friends. The one thing about her is that she was decked out from head to toe. It would take her from morning to evening for her and Trina to get ready. They would do their hair, their makeup, and everything had to be on point. She didn't have to have expensive outfits. She would go to everyday stores, and then she would turn something inexpensive into something that looked really amazing. Her mama was always there to let her have that breather. She knew Renita was a good mom. So on the weekends, she would let Renita have time for herself. Renita's mother is Anita Williams. Both Renita's mother, Anita, and her brothers would watch the children. She had 2 brothers. It was nice that she had this close-knit family. They were there for her, and she could go enjoy herself every now and then. Her and Trina were called Salt and Pepper, and the reason why is because they were always together. Like, you don't see Salt without Pepper. Wherever Renita went, Trina would come along, and of course, Renita was someone that everyone wanted to hang out with. There was never a lack of things for her to do because people were calling her all the time, asking her to come over or go out. It was just a lot of fun. But living in a small town, anything that you did while you're out or anything in your personal life that was going on would get out to the entire community. There was no real hiding, especially when you're posting things publicly. There was a lot of gossip around town. There was a motto that Renita had. She said she was hated by many and confronted by none. She even had a hashtag, confronted by none, because I guess she felt like they didn't have the guts. One thing's for sure, she was way more vocal about the way she felt about people. A lot of the times when she went on Facebook and live streaming, she would actually get blocked. And I don't mean by people, I mean by Facebook. Facebook would block her from using her page the way that she usually did because they had rules and because a lot of the profanity she used and she would get reported, and maybe it was even Rika reporting her. The way that she spoke was deemed to be against the terms of use every now and then. It still happens. You're kind of punished. They'll block you from being able to post for a couple hours or a couple days, and the more infractions you have, the more privileges you get taken away. So this would happen to her periodically. Right after she would go off about something, she would do it nonetheless, even though she knew she could get blocked, because that's just how she was. She couldn't help expressing herself, but then she would not be able to go back on. She would do this to other women. If she had something to say about them, or if somebody had something to say about her relationship, she would make sure to clear it up. I think like many things in life, we get comfortable with them. I feel like we might get a little desensitized, and it seems like that's what happened to Renita. The more she posted, the more she posted. She got so used to it, I think it became second nature. She wouldn't even think about it. She would just do it, kind of like breathing. The reason I say this is because I saw that there were more posts going out in 2017 and 2018 than there were in 2016. She noticed that she was getting a following and that people were tuning in, and that attention makes you continue to do what you're doing, because even if it's negative attention, people are watching. It makes you feel important. I can't tell you anything about her own daddy because I don't know him. I couldn't find any information, but the fact that it didn't look like he was around or in the picture could possibly be one of the reasons why, over time, someone like Renita did crave attention. But there could be a lot of reasons why Renita craved attention. You don't have to be a broken person, so to speak, to enjoy people giving you praise or even confronting people with things that are riling you up. And it wasn't a problem for her. She liked to stir the pot. She was dealing with this back and forth with Jonathan for years, and nothing was changing. And I saw that being expressed more and more, especially in 2017. It really started to ramp up. There was a lot of posts about her feelings towards Rika, towards the situation, giving advice or expressing herself. It was pretty obvious, maybe not to her, but from the outside looking in, that she was struggling. I can't tell you exactly what was going on at certain points in time because I don't have anything to compare it to. I don't have Rika's Facebook posts or Jonathan's to try to piece things together on a timeline of events. But what I will say is that leading up to the summer of 2017, it seems like there were a lot more posts about how Renita felt and trying to clear the air on things, kind of letting it be known that she didn't think it was right what Jonathan was doing. But why stay with him? Sometimes we just have an attachment. Sometimes it's our pride. Sometimes we don't even really love the person anymore. But knowing that we're losing makes us crazy. It makes us want to win. And I think that was what was going on. She felt like she deserved to be number one, and friends said she liked the challenge.
And the other thing that sometimes we forget, especially when we look in and we judge, is that there are good times. We know that Jonathan was charming, so I'm sure there must have been some happy times between him and Renita. That's not the stuff that we hear about, but we have to understand that that breaks up the periods of abusive behavior.
Around May 1st of 2017, these posts really started to ramp up. I'm going to go through some of these posts. I think they're really important to paint a picture of what was going on. Because a lot of times when we hear these cases, it's sort of the short version, like, oh, this is what happened to them. I always want to know more, like how, why, who was involved, what was going on, and we get to see that. I didn't see a time when her page wasn't public, but on May 1st, 2017, she says, "I'm sorry y'all had to go through so much, but my page is now public." To me, I thought this meant, hey, I know you missed me, but I'm back and I'm airing it all out. I'm going to let it be known. I'm throwing it out there. I really think this had to do with the fact that she wanted Rika to know that she's still in the picture. Like, sorry, but you think you're number one, but you're not the only one. Then on May 4th, she says, "I lost myself trying to please everyone. Now I'm losing everyone trying to find myself. At the end of the day, I'm going to choose me first. People are so ungrateful. You can't please them." And the hashtag says, "all about me now." We can see that there is a change. She's really starting to express herself about not wanting to take crap from anyone. And then on May 3rd, she says, "I don't give a damn if we were in 3rd grade, we had an argument and we got back cool. You said something that I didn't agree with. I still don't look at you the same because I forgive you, but I'll never forget." So even if it's someone she's known a long time, the fact is if you rub her the wrong way, you really can't get back to good with her. She'll be kind, she'll be cool, but she's not going to be putting that out of her head. She's not going to look at you the same. She's going to remember it, and it's going to guide her actions and her feelings. I think that's saying a lot. It's pretty outspoken. On May 17th, she says, "I'm shaking my damn head at some of you parents. It's your child's graduation, and some of you are dead wrong for how you threw these kids together, especially the little girls. If it were something pertaining to you, then you'd probably have put on your best dress. It doesn't take much for a child to look presentable. Knowing the attention's on the kids, so big shout out to the parents that did at least try. Your child represents you." I really like this post. To me, it showed how much she adored her children. The kids were graduating, whether it was kindergarten or high school, And she's obviously observing that a lot of the other children were sloppy. Maybe Renita did what she did when it came to her children because she was on social media. Maybe she wanted her children to look presentable, or maybe that was just who she was. She believed they were a reflection of her. She took pride in her children. She wanted them to look their best, and I think it's true. Had the parents been the ones walking across the stage, you know they would have picked out something good to wear. Why not dress your children the same? What really hurts me is that we can look at someone like Gabby Petito. If you don't know anything about that case, that's fine, but she had much less of her life online than Renita did. And people can make this whole positive theory about her, not saying there was anything negative about her, but people would say she was an angel. They would put angel wings on her. They would call her a good person that didn't deserve any of the things that happened to her. And yet, some people cannot do that for someone like Renita because of her lifestyle or what she writes on her Facebook page. It doesn't really make sense to me. On May 11th, she says, they want to have their cake, ice cream, and eat it too. I'm like, me too. I love birthday parties. That's really funny because we all know what she's talking about here. I think she's very smart. There's people that want to make fun of her intelligence because her grammar's incorrect or she spelled something wrong. Maybe she was just being cute and that's the way she likes to speak and type. That doesn't mean you're not intelligent. It doesn't mean you're not educated. I can tell she's both of those things and she's very witty. And it was possibly going over people's heads. I'm going to move on to June 3rd, 2017. This is where her mind was either you love me or you love me not. I'm going to be me. I'm known for making promises I can't keep. We cannot 100% know what she's talking about here, but maybe she promised herself she wouldn't be involved with Jonathan, or maybe she promised a friend, or maybe she promised her family, like, this is the last time I'm going to see him. I know some viewers do not like when I assume things. I understand that, but I'm just analyzing what I read. I'm not trying to put thoughts into her mind. We can only know a sliver of her life, but this could be what she was talking about. Regardless, you're going to love her or not. It's not going to change who she is according to her. On June 5th, she says, I've never been a follow the leader ass bitch or a yes man. When you're wrong, you're wrong. I give props when it's due, not just because it's you. Poetry. And to me, that was saying I could be your friend or your lover, but I won't just follow along with whatever you say and go, yes, 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 you're right. No. When I know you're wrong, and I will say you're wrong. June 10th, 2017, she said, you can't puzzle my life together from social media. You're missing way too many pieces. And I love this. Remember this, because this is the crux of everything. This is what this case revolves around. Social media. It's about the impact that words have. They say words will never harm you, and I'm really not sure that's true here. Words are not killing people. People are. But it's the reaction that matters. And we say freedom of speech, be authentic, speak your mind. But then when you do, even in code, like Renita did, people can take you the wrong way. People can let it affect them, and there can be very bad consequences. And you hear this a lot. Oh, you chose to put your life online. I can't think of one person in my life that hasn't put their life somewhere online. And yes, it is a choice. But it's also a choice to be an a-hole. It's a choice to be mean. It's a choice to hurt people. What she was doing is less of an offense than what you're going to hear happens to her as a result. On June 11th, she types, wake up, enjoy life, because you never know when you're going to go to sleep. The foreshadowing here gives me the chills. On June 12th, she just wants to put this out there. I'm single, just to clear up any confusion. This is that push-pull relationship for sure. We've seen her post like this before.
Being in this relationship with him, this toxic relationship, must have to a degree crushed her self-esteem. And I would expect that it would have caused her some mental health problems. Can't really make that call unless I had the advantage of assessing her in person. Yet despite everything I'm saying, Renita kept going back to him. And you have to ask why. Especially because it seemed that she was settled in life. She had, a close family unit. She had 3 children. She was even in another relationship. So there's a degree of speculation here, but there must have been something about Jonathan, whether it was his physical charm, whether it was, just a sexual or a physical attraction, or whether he was just so manipulative, beyond what we can imagine in terms of, promising her a future together and whispering sweet nothings.
In case you've never heard of a push-pull relationship and you don't know what it is, I want to talk about it just for a second because in a lot of ways, It could be healthy in a lot of other ways. It can be very, very toxic. Most of the time, a push-pull relationship is where one person pushes a romantic partner away only to pull them back in again after they become cold and distant. This is most commonly due to a fear of intimacy by the pusher, and it's just a vicious cycle. It's usually found in relationships that are more back and forth, someone that can't commit. And I'm going to tell you, that is what was going on between Renita and Jonathan. They may have both been the pusher sometimes. She's talking about how she's single right now. Then they're back together hooking up. Then she's talking crap about him on the internet, and it's just this back and forth, and it's considered very toxic. Now, in a healthy relationship, you can do a pseudo push and pull where you give a little, take a little away, put some mystery between you and him. That's different. That's not the same as something that's non-committal. In these non-committal situations, there's this fear of what's going to happen next. Things are so undefined. There's one person who wants more. There's another person that's sort of just using them. That's a toxic push-pull relationship. However, it's not just one person's fault. I'm sure Renita was a pusher, and I'm sure Jonathan did, and they did it for separate reasons. I'm not a professional, but I can read articles like this one, and I realize people that are hurt in a relationship, they can go back and forth. Or a person that wants control in the relationship can do the back and forth. If I'm looking at this with the perspective of everything that I've read, every post that Renita has made, the videos, the pictures, and what I've heard from Jonathan himself, which you will also hear later, it really leads me to believe that Renita wanted more, she was hurt, and she had a lot of feelings involved, and Jonathan just wanted sex. There was something about Renita that he couldn't get away from. A lot of times this isn't about love. It's just about winning. You heard Jonathan's words. You've got two pretty strong personalities. Renita, who's very self-assured, very confident, doesn't want to look like a fool because that destroys everything that she believes in. Whether or not people believe that she's that confident, or if it's just a weakness, or if it's just a front. In her mind, she values being bold. She values speaking her mind. On June 14th, she says, "Sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around someone else's, because half y'all doormats are filthy." This analogy is about not judging others, worry about yourself. Instead, get yourself into shape and stop being other people's business. I'm sure there were a lot of people judging her, maybe for her choice of being with Jonathan in the back and forth, or maybe her choices online or as a mother, what she did for a living. We're going to dig into some of that because she actually tells the truth about what she feels like when it comes to being a mother. There was a post from 2018 where she said that she knows she's not the best mother, but that doesn't mean she doesn't want the best for her children. That doesn't mean she doesn't love her children. She says, "I'm not a good mom sometimes." Nobody is. There's no real handbook on being the best mom in the world. I don't think there is a best mom in the world. We're not perfect. We have flaws. Recognizing that you have them is part of self-reflection, and we need to do that. I want to wrap up the posts from 2017, at least the ones that I found significant. There's only a few left, and we can look inside what she was thinking about and what she was posting about moving into 2018, when everything really started to unfold, when these horrific events occurred. On September 28th, a day after her birthday, she posts, "First off, I want to thank the man above for blessing me with yet another year. I really appreciate the calls, the texts, the birthday wishes, shout outs, love, and support from everyone that showed me love. I love the gifts, but the thoughts and encouraging words was even better. I had a great time last night with everyone." Then on October 11th, she said, "Just trying to see why the fuck I have 5,000 friends. I don't even know 5,000 people. As a matter of fact, I don't even like people. The friend request line is booming. I don't even get 5% of 5,000 attention. I don't mean any harm, but half y'all has to go." This could definitely be one of those attention-getting posts where it's like, well, I don't even know why I have 5,000 friends, so she wants people to tell her why, to confirm the things that she thinks about herself, because she definitely knows why. She's beautiful. People are interested in her life. She shares a lot. I see a lot of reasons why people would really like looking at her life. It's kind of like a soap opera. They want to know what's going to happen next. A lot of people like tuning in. And just a few days later, on October 15th, she says, "No matter how bad you think you've got it, Somebody always has it worse than you. Sometimes I think she's talking to herself in these posts. On November 1st, she said, "It doesn't feel good when you think something's solid and then it just turns into liquid." This is actually a good analogy. You feel like you've got a hold on something and then it just slips through your fingers like a liquid and you just can't get a hold on it. And to me, this is that push-pull relationship. Maybe Jonathan tells her, "Oh, I'm going to be with you. It's just a matter of time." We're not privy to those conversations, unfortunately. I don't have the ability to even track down all of her live streams. I don't even think they stayed up. I've seen some of her videos on her page and I want to talk about some of those, but as far as me getting to see exactly what she was saying, maybe hurting others or talking about Rika, I don't have those. So let's get into the videos on her page. They're all pretty much songs, her singing in her car. Maybe you do too, but not just that. I can't play the songs because of course copyright, but I'm telling you right now, she didn't just post herself singing in a car because she thought it was fun. There was a message in all of the songs. She expressed the way that she was feeling in that moment, and I can relate to this more than anything else. Anything else besides maybe being a mother, because Renita was a single mother of 3. I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute, but the fact that she expressed herself through song lyrics, it would paint a picture of what she was really feeling and the message that she wanted to send. When I actually listened to the songs, and they were only 8 seconds, I think back then Facebook only allowed that much, I realized they were all about what she was going through. It's about having to share a man, and it says that the guy has been with everyone, on point, and definitely pointed at Jonathan and Rika. On November 2nd, which was just a day later, she said, "They use the same mouth asking you for help to bash you." Yeah, that's not a good feeling. On November 6th, she says, "If you're going to address a person about a situation, the right thing to do is inbox, call, or text, because then your business becomes our business. That's an ugly sight to see, especially when you're going to go back talking to them again. Trust me, I've been there before, and it makes us look like clowns, giving us entertainment at a circus." This is interesting, a little bit hypocritical, because I think people could say, well, she did the same thing. And that's why I said, I think sometimes she's talking to herself in these posts, because she was putting her business all over the internet. And this is what Jonathan and Rika would get mad about the most, the vague posts, the live streams, talking about things she did or things she believed. A couple weeks later, on November 20th, she said, "Every time I change his name in my phone, he fucks up. Now it's back to don't answer." Common push and pull. He does something like that she doesn't like. She doesn't want to talk to him. He comes back into her life. They're good for a while, then something bad happens.
I get the impression that Renita was actually quite ambivalent towards Jonathan. I think she had mixed feelings. Because on the one hand, when their relationship previously ended, she publicly chastised him and she was very derogatory towards him.
Rika's mental health was in a bad place because she's reading all of Renita's posts. It's stressing her out. And Jonathan said she even tried to take her own life. It was that serious. So we could say, who is messing with whom? I can see both of these women are in a situation that's completely toxic. You got a man that can't keep it in his pants. You have a man that can't fully commit to either one of you guys after years. We're not talking about a 3-month relationship. But you know what? Who am I to judge? But I am judging. I think there's a lot of issues going on. It doesn't seem like they can be resolved by merely talking. You've got this guy that's sleeping with 2 women at the same time and they're both spending time with him.
So I think a lot of people do this to bolster their self-esteem.
And by December 31st,
and this comes down to the root cause of this is a need for admiration. And often this is because that has been missing during formative years.
I only have a few posts from 2018 leading up to her death.
Maybe
the first one's on January 12th.
As a child, maybe
it says the best revenge is no revenge at all. Be
or
happy
it could be
and
that
live
your
life.
current
Now, something
social
you're going to hear in just a
circumstances are
few
a bit
minutes
sort of
is
lonely
that
and tragic.
there's a different
so you try
side
and
of the
manipulate
story.
reality.
The best revenge is no revenge. On January 14th, she said, "Making the next motherfucking appearance being my #1 priority will never adjust with me, because 1 thing's for sure, 2 for certain. All I know, it's murder when it comes to me." This last part is from a song by Meek Mill. It's called Dreams and Nightmares. I did look up the lyrics because I wanted to understand what she was saying here. And the interesting thing about this song is that it's about his past and how he got to where he is. And that he's always been waiting for this opportunity. He spent a lot of time in jail, and now he's starting to see his dreams come true. If you flip it around, this would resonate with someone like Renita. She's been arrested. She's had trying things happen in her life that didn't go exactly perfect, but she's on this path where she really believed she was going to make it. And in her own life, she didn't want a man to come between that. So in the song, though, there's this verse, like I said, that says, all I know is murder when it comes to me. In this portion of the song, he's talking about the fact that if you mess with him, you're going to get smoked. Whether or not she meant that figuratively or literally, I don't know, but she was definitely pointing it at someone. February 3rd, she says, don't play with me, because I promise you ain't going to like the way I play back. Again, seems a little threatening. Seems like she's pointing the finger at Rika or Jonathan. But she's definitely sending a message. She's sick of whatever it is. She's sick of being treated the way she was. Did she have a choice to stop seeing Jonathan? Absolutely. Did she choose that? No, she didn't. Just a few days later, though, she's doing some self-reflection on February 15th, a day after Valentine's Day, and she makes a post directed at her kids. She said, in life, I made some bad decisions and wrong choices, but my good days outweigh my bad days, some of them to sacrifice for y'all's needs. I'm a pain in the butt sometimes, but as you get older, you will understand. Yeah, I said no when I was able to say yes. I say no to teach you a lesson, because there will be times when you're not able to be a yes mom. Y'all too was blessed with each other, sisters. That's something I don't have, never needed, but would have loved to have. But y'all are my sisters forever. I'm your girl. You are my girls. Don't you know that I love you? P.S. Don't be like me. Be better than me. Only the smarter way, but with the same attitude. If you have girls, you should understand this. This is for her daughters. I agree. Yes, I agree with what Renita is saying. Kids won't understand why we say no until they're older. And having a sister, they're always going to have each other. And that really hits home, especially when you realize everything that's going to play out. They have each other, and thankfully they do. Just a month later, she took her older daughter Jada to New York. That's when she said, I'm not a perfect mother, but I want the best for my daughter. I agree. Don't we all? At least most of us do. Even if we're not perfect, we say, I hope I can give my child a better life. I know people online made fun of her because she was living at her mother's house, but that's still her mother. You want to help your children. We're not perfect. Sometimes you're going to need your parents, even if you are older. Going into the next couple of months of the story is where everything really turned for the worst. And there's no way that Renita would have known that. She wouldn't have known in less than a month after the trip to New York with her daughter that she would no longer be alive. She would no longer be experiencing memories. She would no longer be loving her daughters or her son in this life. But she loved them until her death. That's apparent to me. Through everything I've seen and what I've read, that was her life. Yet people online making fun of her for her glamour shots. People saying the only reason why she could dress her kids nicely is because she was a drug dealer. Tell me, if you're watching this, what does that have to do with what unfolded? Tell me. After you hear everything, and if the people that said that are watching this, tell me, what does that have to do with anything that unfolded? I'd really love to know. Those are the only posts from Renita that I have in 2018 that I thought were important to share. Of course, there are other ones about what she's eating, what she's doing that day, but these are the ones that stood out to me.
Okay, another question which I want to address, which I touched on before, is this. Why do some people choose to share their lives online? Well, I think it's fair to say that most people in this category will have at least a degree of narcissism. And that's reflected by the very fact that what we put online, we can manipulate. So we can project a perfect version of ourselves. So if we've had a really dull, dreary morning, but you go to a cafe and have an amazing brunch, then you can project that as having a really exciting life. You can actually literally do it with the filters of the photos that you take. And it's all about manipulating an image that you project. So I think a lot of people do this to bolster their self-esteem. And this comes down to the root cause of this is a need for admiration. And often this is because that has been missing during formative years. Maybe your parents didn't show you enough support or love. Maybe you were isolated as a child. Maybe you're bullied by your peers, for example. Or it could be that your current social circumstances are a bit sort of lonely and tragic. So you try and manipulate reality.
So what exactly was happening at this point in time? Well, on February 23rd, Rika, and I know I don't have a lot of her posts, but I have a couple, posted a picture of Jonathan and her son. So her son's on the left, Jonathan is on the right. I'm showing it on the screen. The caption says, "So my man started his second job on Monday, 2 full-time jobs, including my full-time and part-time, and my son, a full-time honor roll student, senior, started working yesterday. Anything is possible with prayer. I'm so happy and proud of them. My son was easy, but Jonathan, it took a lot to keep him focused and motivated to stay on the right path. After all, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the talks, the arguments, it paid off. Now watch this legal money roll in. It wasn't easy. I stayed strong and positive through it all. Now all I can say is mission accomplished." That was Rika's mission, to turn him around, to win, to get him to be that committed family man, working man. And it looks like around this time, she was really putting it out there that she got what she wanted. Something I want to point out here is we're going to hear some of the public opinions about the difference between Rika Taylor and Renita Williams. And one of those is that Rika is more mature, well-spoken, she's a serious woman, and it may look like that when you're comparing their posts. The other thing is sometimes we're attracted to people who are not good for us. I feel like that was the pull Renita had on Jonathan, whereas Rika was more of a woman who wanted to see him get out of the drug business, make legal money, like she said. It's not easy because he's used to a certain life, and that life was possibly perpetuated when he was out with Renita. And that's really difficult. It's hard for an addict. It doesn't matter if you're addicted to gambling or drugs or cigarettes or women. It's still addictive. I can see why this is hard for every person in this situation, not just one. Cheating and having these love triangles, the ramifications of something like this can be far-reaching. It can hurt family, friends, the people involved, the kids, if there are any in the situation. Moving to March 2nd. Rika and Jonathan are together. Here's the picture. They're eating at a Mexican restaurant. And I don't know when this one's from, but there's another picture of them that I'm looking at right now. It says, "The looks don't make us, we make the looks. 6 year and holding. Hashtag me, him, us." That's just a public portrayal of the fact she thinks it's all about them. The choices that Jonathan made not only hurt people, but what you're about to hear are the choices that he made that ultimately led to Renita losing her life. On February 25th, 2018, she said, "Never let the next bitch see you sweat under no circumstances. They will always feel that they have the up on you." Then on March 12th, she's talking about how the main girlfriend ain't getting shit and the side girlfriend is getting spoiled. On March 15th, she says, "I used to react to a lot of shit, but then I had to realize who the fuck I am. Just because I'm not going to react to something I heard doesn't mean I don't know about it. It just means I don't give a fuck. I'm moving way different than I used to. I'd rather show you instead of telling you." And that's what she was doing. She was really looking as though she was getting her life together. And that's when she took a trip with her daughter. It was March 23rd, and they went to New York, and they were having this memorable time together. They even wore matching outfits. They got their hair done. And here's a picture right here. It says, "Slay takes off now." Creative. Very cute. I really like the pink hair. So she was off to New York. And these are beautiful pictures of mother and daughter together. On Snapchat, she posted a picture of the city and said, "Y'all, this is the life. I've been many places in life, but it doesn't get any better than this. Negative energy doesn't exist right now when you're surrounded by positive people and things. As long as God is with me, forget who's against me." And that makes me sad because she had no idea what was coming to her. But she continued, posting cute photo after cute photo, hashtagging things like "stay focused. You can do whatever in life that you want to do. Just don't let nothing or no one stop you. Keep your feet on their neck. When you get tired, switch to the other foot." It's a really good saying, you know? It's like, keep making sure you're holding them back from being able to tell you what to do. And these are encouraging words. It might be things that she told her own daughter. I just think she was trying to be as positive as she could, living her best life. Another picture from the same day, she's looking really cute. And she's talking about how, You know, the girls that he hangs out with, who's probably Rika, they have nothing on her. She knows her worth. And then the very last post that's still up from March 27, 2018 was from New York. And it reads, "I done got pissed off. Now your name changed back to bitch ass." Something happened there. She's really upset. Who else would she be changing the phone number for? It's probably Jonathan, and it's really confusing, at least for me. In 2018, Jonathan committed to moving to Houston with Rika. At this point, Renita was actually dating somebody else. She was finally trying to be free, and she seemed really happy. And those around her knew that she was just trying to move on and head in a new direction. But like these push-pull relationships, when Jonathan found out that she was seeing somebody else, he wanted to pull her back in. It's like you're losing grip on something that you had control over.
Despite everything I've said, what makes this, in my opinion, quite an unusual or atypical case is the distance between Jonathan and Renita. So presumably he'd have had less potential control over Renita's lifestyle because he wasn't physically there to always watch her and tell her what to do. However, arguably, I would say that Renita's behavior, particularly showing off her life and kind of indicating all her activities on social media, actually helped Jonathan to motivate him.
It makes people like Jonathan insecure because he thinks, she's slipping out of my hands. This is weird. It's a toxic cycle that goes on and on and on. There was so much tension between Renita and Jonathan that she actually blocked him, his number, him on Facebook, everywhere, so that she didn't have to deal with it. The thing is, according to those around them, Jonathan would go out of his way to ask his friends about what Renita was doing to keep tabs on her. He would have other people call her phone or send her messages wanting to know what was going on in her life. If he did get a chance to talk to her in some way, by connecting through a friend, he would talk about the fact that she had a new boyfriend. He definitely wasn't happy about it. Now, the weekend that everything went down, I'm trying to piece this together the best that I can. She's finally letting loose. She's with her friends. She was in a new place in her life. She was sharing all of that on Facebook. She was going live all the time. Her friend said in this period of time, she just wasn't putting her phone down. She's letting everyone know how happy she was, laughing and carrying on. And this could be to make Jonathan jealous. And it worked because he was trying to weasel his way back in. But this time, she wasn't actually having it. Apparently, he decides to show up at this club, at this party, where she's enjoying herself with her friends and having a good time. This was the weekend before everything unfolded. He came from Houston to Louisiana. He shows up uninvited. She's wondering, what is he doing there? Renita's friend said that Jonathan was so controlling, and it was a one-way street. He could be in a relationship with Rika this whole time, making it very uncomfortable between the two women and everybody else, causing a lot of drama, not being able to commit, going back and forth, frustrating them. But if Renita finally let go and started doing something that she wanted with another guy, that was a problem, and he wouldn't leave her alone at the club. At some point, she tells him she's done, and that's when he grabs her by the neck, which is scary. He's not worried about doing this in public, so what does that tell you? Women in these situations are so vulnerable, especially with someone bigger than them, that's stronger than them, so she pleads with him to stop. But the thing about Renita is that when you cross her, she gets revenge some way, somehow. She's not afraid to unleash the same amount of anger and betrayal, calling you out, making it public, and that's what she does.
When he accosted her in a club in February 2018, she told him and she told everybody, she told the world what she was doing and where she was. So why did she do this? Why was Renita so married to the idea of projecting this image on social media? The other thing that I would say is that sometimes getting this kind of positive feedback is like a quick fix for depression or anxiety. So obviously it's not a long-term treatment, but it gives you a little boost of self-esteem, so it kind of combats some of the symptoms of low mood. But I think the problem is it can turn into like an addiction towards needing validation. The other thing I'd say is that it's kind of a snowball effect. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy when you live so much of your life online. So the longer you do it and the more that you post, then that's likely to lead to more attention and more followers. So it makes you feel more important. It makes you feel more kind of present and more dominant online. And then over time, your online presence can gradually become more important than real life friends, or more important than reality. Why do people do this? Well, it's kind of what I've hinted at before. It gives you what you desire. You desire positive feedback, although this can eventually lead into addiction. And I think part of the reason it's self-fulfilling is that the more successful you get at it, the harder it is to give up. So imagine if somebody's got, I don't know, 100,000 followers on social media. To have got there in the first place, they must have invested so much time, so much effort, so many hours making all these posts and making, you know, the perfect pictures using all these filters, so much brain space and thought that it's quite hard to give this up eventually.
If she knows someone had power over her, like Jonathan did in these situations, she was going to use her own power to her advantage. Her power was her communication. Her power was her following. Her power was the power to make him look bad to so many people in their community. Somehow, though, Jonathan convinces Renita to have sex with him on both Friday and Saturday. This unwavering lust, the addiction, but this time it's different. We won't know for sure, but it might have been to have more power, which is the power to let Rika know whatever she wants to post about, oh, Jonathan's on the straight and narrow. Jonathan has a job. Well, guess what? He's also working Renita. He's actually in another state with Renita. And just days afterward, he's back with Rika. So Renita decides to go live talking about Jonathan. Yep, he's running around behind Rika's back, continuing to have sex. And not only that, Rika decided to argue back. They were in a battle with words. And Renita knew how to push Rika's buttons, and Rika wasn't as strong as Renita. For example, Rika might post something about how Renita is stealing her man, which makes Renita look bad. But in return, Renita had a bigger following, and she would go live or post about how weak Rika was and how Jonathan never wanted to be with her. He was just using her, and how he's always in Renita's bed. It just goes back and forth. It's like high school drama, but worse. That Sunday, after the sexcapades, she hops on live and she lets it all out. How he still wants her. He's got a girlfriend. He's still coming back. She's got this hold on him. There are hundreds of people watching. What she's emphasizing is, no, I'm not and I don't want to be with Jonathan. He just keeps coming back to me. He's stalking me. He's chasing me. And this other lady, Rika, she thinks it's all me, but it isn't. She knew that this behavior really bothered Rika and Jonathan because he cared about Rika. He didn't want people talking bad about her or him, mostly because of the fact that Rika was helping him in life, trying to get him out of these bad situations that he was going through. There was a fear that he might lose this good thing, but then he's got this ace in the hole with Renita. In case it doesn't work out, this is when everything becomes the worst situation for everyone involved. Jonathan had enough. He'll tell you in his own words, because we're going to listen to an interview that he had with police, a confession. We're going to know exactly what he was thinking from his own point of view and why all of this went down. But nevertheless, it's the morning of April 12th. And when Jonathan was back in Houston, something in him snapped. And at some point, he drives from Houston back to Louisiana. I don't know the particulars. You can listen to what he says. But what I gathered from everything was that he decided to end this once and for all. He was finally going to take care of it for Rika. What he thought at the time was the only way to get Renita to stop making fun of Rika, to stop tearing them apart potentially, was to end her life.
A kind of connected issue and the same similar psychological processes, things like insecurity, low self-esteem, also lead, in my opinion, to why some people are so easily offended by trolls and comments online. If you're interested in this, I've actually done a video about the psychology behind internet trolling, including the real-life tragic case of a young girl in England who is 14 years old and she was bullied and pushed into committing suicide. Go and check out this video. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because it seems that Sharika was very offended by Renita's comments. And again, this is likely to be because she had spent a lot of time building up this perfect image on social media. So when it gets attacked, it's quite embarrassing for her. So I just want to be crystal clear. I'm not suggesting in any way that Jonathan's actions weren't his fault. I think they're 100% his fault. It was his decision. He went down with a shotgun. As I said before, he had a lot of time to reflect on his behavior, but he didn't stop. So I'm not saying it wasn't his fault, but it's possible that Sharika's displeasure of being sort of dissed publicly on social media could have triggered his decisions.
At 10 o'clock in the morning, Jonathan showed up at Renita's mother's home. Thankfully, he came in the middle of the day when the children were at school, because this could have been so much worse. If it's not devastating enough and heartbreaking as it is, she doesn't want to let him in, of course. He's enraged. So he kicks the door down. Renita's brother's there, and Anita is there. This next part is going to be really hard to hear, because like the title suggests, Renita's life was ended on Facebook Live. But before we get into exactly what happened, I have to put this into context. The day that Renita had gone live to tell the truth about what was going on, Jonathan went live to rebut her claims. But then she went live again, and this time she was really effing with Rika to the point that Rika was having a mental breakdown. This is what led Jonathan to be at Renita's door, knocking it down, because he wanted Renita to apologize to Rika. And if you listen carefully to what we're going to hear, you can hear Rika on the phone. And this was at the same time that she was going live on Facebook to publicly apologize to Rika. But here's the problem. Unfortunately, because of Renita's previous conduct, Facebook had blocked her from the ability to go live on her page. This was heartbreaking to me, and I know it doesn't really seem like a big deal. I don't think it would have changed anything in this situation, but it just shows me how much we rely on something that we have no control over. Because of the fact that she could not jump back on her live where there's hundreds of people that she already told all these belittling things to about Jonathan, she had no choice but to use her brother's page. But that's not the same. She's not going to get the same reaction. She's not going to get the same followers listening in. Maybe that made Jonathan mad because the apology isn't going to mean as much if it's not coming from her own page. If it's not the people who heard about what he was supposedly doing, it wasn't good enough. But again, I don't think it would have made any difference because Jonathan had planned to do what he did. He knew what he was going to do before he even walked through that door. He prepared for this. But the fact is, she couldn't go live on her own page, so she was left with no other option but to quickly grab her brother's phone and go live on his. What you are about to hear is Renita attempting to apologize to Rika from her brother's Facebook Live, doing her best to try to make it up to Jonathan because he's standing there with an SK. It's a loaded weapon. What is she supposed to do? In this video, you're also going to notice that at some point, the police do come to Renita's house. This really angered Jonathan, but he planned this, and he knew that was going to happen, and he wanted it to. I don't know who initially called the police, but we do have one 911 call that's public. He began firing right after the police arrived, so there must have been a call prior to this one that made the police come out.
Shreveport Police, what's your emergency?
Can you send the police to 1301 Madness? Because they shooting Jonathan Robinson.
Okay, is he shooting now?
Yeah, he's shooting now, man.
Regardless of how the police show up, they started to surround the home. They knew he had a firearm. The video I'm going to play is about a 3-minute video, and about 2.5 minutes in, he starts to fire at police officers. This was an 80-minute standoff. There were about 7 police officers, and one of them ends up getting shot in the wrist. This is where things get really, really bad, and I'm going to lower the volume when those shots are fired, just so that it doesn't blow out your eardrums. Okay, here goes. Just brace yourself.
Hey, y'all. This Nunu. I apologize for going live on Rika. I ain't had no business doing all that. My page been blocked, so that's why I'm going live. Yes, I know I was wrong. I ain't have no business going off like that, but...
See right there. See right there. Everybody want to be famous. I'm going to make you famous.
Yes.
What?
I am sorry, y'all. This new, I'm blocked off my page. So I had to go out live on Monster Phone. I ain't had no intentions of going live like that. I apologize to everybody. Yes.
What?
No, huh? Yes, that's her. Let me see the phone, sir.
No.
Yes. Yes, Aunt Lola. Yes. Yeah, Rika. Yeah, she on the phone. Yeah.
You think I'm worried about the police right now? Huh? You think I'm worried about the police right now?
No.
I keep telling you, bitch, I don't give a f about no fucking police, you heard?
Mm-hmm.
You just can't stop playing with me. This bitch will pull up right now. Pull up.
Okay.
Pull up. Pull up.
Uh-huh. No, it was just, I apologize.
What's up?
Because I couldn't go live on my phone. My page is blocked.
Bitch want to be famous, I'm going to make a motherfucker famous.
No.
Want to be famous, I'm going to make you famous.
No.
No. Everybody want to be famous, let's be famous today.
Okay.
Huh? I do.
Yes.
He's telling you I get on these bitches never.
No.
Bitch, don't.
Stop, Jonathan. Stop, Jonathan.
Now, bitch, game over. Game over. Bitch.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you had to hear that. I'm so sorry that I had to hear this because I've never heard anything like this. And to think that some people were live witnessing this and they couldn't do anything about it. The last thing she says, it gets me. She says, stop, Jonathan, stop, Jonathan. And just like that, she's gone. He takes somebody from this world over what? His own mistakes. Yes, of course, Renita had a big mouth. Yes, she was going to put you on blast. But social media is not real life unless you make it real, unless you let it affect you. Because you can walk away at any moment. If it's affecting you from another state, from being with your real girlfriend, all you have to do is shut it off, not extinguish somebody's life.
So I want to look more closely at Jonathan's actual behaviour during the offence. So in my role as a consultant forensic psychiatrist, I actually assess mentally disordered offenders during their criminal trials. And in a small proportion of cases, I might suggest that because of their mental illnesses, they might have some sort of psychiatric defence. Having said all that, I think that Jonathan's behaviour was completely pushed by his rage. He held on to that anger for the entire drive all the way down to where she was. And once he was there, he made no attempt to hide his behavior. You know, he was pacing around on Facebook Live. So to me, this is not about him, you know, trying to absolve his guilt. It wasn't about him trying to get an apology towards his girlfriend, Sharika, because it wasn't even a proper apology, was it? When we think about it, it was obviously forced. So to me, this is not about his guilt towards his girlfriend. This is about his own massive narcissism. He refused to accept to be slighted publicly. He had to have the upper hand. He had to be dominant at all costs, even if it meant ending life and even if it meant going to prison. So when I first started researching this case, I thought that maybe Jonathan could be a psychopath because he certainly got some of the psychopathic traits. You know, he is aggressive, he's impulsive, he doesn't care about the rights of other people, he doesn't care about the law, he's massively narcissistic, he's got a history of domestic violence, so he obviously doesn't learn from his mistakes. So all of those things are characteristics of psychopaths. But A true psychopath would be a bit more clever, they'd be a bit more calculated, and they would be less likely to be caught. They would plan out the action a lot more carefully. So he could actually be a sociopath as opposed to a psychopath. So they're very similar, but they're not the same thing. If you want to know more about that, I've done a video on my channel, A Psych for Sore Minds, on the differences between sociopaths and psychopaths. The other thing I wanted to say is that from my interpretation of what I've read, there's no evidence of any psychosis in Jonathan. So he's not out of touch of reality. He's not driven by voices. He's not driven by delusional thoughts. This is all about power, all about anger. It's not about mental illness. So I think if I assessed him professionally, I would almost certainly not be offering any sort of psychiatric defense.
I don't know how anyone can sit there and defend this man, say that she had it coming to her. Of course, this is my opinion. Everyone else can have theirs. But before I go to the confession, remember those things I told you about? About the victim blaming? I want to read some of the things that people said about how they feel about this case and how they think it played out. I think it's important to know that stuff because there's other things I want to show you, like how this affected people around Renita, her children, her family, her mother. These are real people. And the fact that there's some people out there who can take the humanity out of a person whose life was taken while they still breathe air and they're still living on this planet and can do whatever they want and choose to do this is beyond my understanding. I don't get why they can't imagine that this person's like their mother or their sister or their aunt, whoever. Why is that hard for people to get in their minds? The first thing I noticed is that there were a lot of people talking about the fact that Renita had been arrested in the past on the drug-related crimes, insurance fraud, things like that. Again, what does that have to do with the fact that a crazed man comes into her home and does this to her? Tell me, because I would really like to know what someone's past with the law has to do with this. Jonathan has a past with the law. So why is it okay for him to have a past with the law, carry out these actions? He'd also attempted this before. He already has a charge of attempted murder. But then some people want to paint Renita as the bad person so that they can justify this man's actions. Let me read some of these things to you. I'm going to put them up on the screen. If you want to look at the screen, they're pulled right from places online. This is what was said about this case. After this, we're going to take a listen to what Jonathan himself has to say about the way things played out. I'm not going to apologize for this being long because I want to be thorough. I want to show you everything, and I want you to get into the mind of these other people. I want you to see the callous, the heartless, and the confusing and unbelievable thought process of some people online that feel the need to express this, where everyone can see it, where family members can see it. And though I said social media may not be real, Renita's death is. She's a real person, regardless of what's happening online. So brace yourself, because I was bawling my eyes out. The first one said, Web of Lies, which is a TV show that aired her story, will never have my respect after seeing how they, quote, messed up this story. I watched the episode. Her family spoke. How can a person online think that they know the narrative better than her own family? The next one said, she was being a thought. And if you don't know what that means, it's that hoe over there. It's an acronym. The other one reads, all Black women do is lie. Or this one, when simping leads to murder. One person joked about their names, saying, I'm Anita, and this is my daughter, Ronita. And just laughing. Why are you making fun of her mother or their names? Remember her motto? Hated by many, confronted by none. Oh, they made fun of that by hashtagging killed by one or calling her a dumb hoe, saying things like, she was obviously confronted, LOL, or another, oh, she got confronted. It's heartless how people can say things like, I have no love for thoughties, or live by the mouth, die by the mouth. One person said, you play a stupid game, you win a stupid prize. Hated by many, got done. I didn't believe this was real, or one I really didn't like. She didn't believe it was real until she was sent that steel. Are these people human? Or what about when fuckery catches up to you? Or she's real single now. They made fun of her grammar and her spelling. This is social media. It's not a job application. It's not an exam. Someone called her a fucking dumbass C-word because she spelled two with 2 O's instead of 1 in a sentence. Someone else asked, why is her page still up? Like, they should just erase it. That her legacy shouldn't live on because she's not worth it. Another person had the audacity to say, did he at least kill her? What? Did he at least kill her? They just couldn't help but belittle this woman and talk about how uneducated she was. You know she wasn't. And they'd compare her to Rika and say, you know, it seems like hoes speak more than an educated woman. They wrote, I bet she really thought that hashtag was clever. Another went on to say, I hate people that air their dirty laundry on social media. The worst one that I read was, he wasn't wrong. No remorse for these bitches. They reap what they sow. These women abuse folks and then cry when the shit comes back. Oh my God. Oh, and this one just disgusts me. It says, Black women are so gross. I'm going to read a few more in succession without saying this one says and that one goes. So here goes. Facebook got her dead to the bed. Oh, I see why she got shot. Her ego is annoying. Cute till they get killed. Looking for trouble, she found it along with the Grim Reaper. What an uneducated hood rat hoe bitch. That hair is killing me. Such a bad choice. Get the bozo wig off. They're talking about a woman who is now deceased. This is beyond disturbing that there's people out there who feel it's okay to say this stuff. They don't know her. They probably haven't done what I've done. No, they're listening to a creator like me. Okay, that's fair. That has an opinion totally different from mine. That she's pretty much a piece of crap. And they're letting that influence their thoughts on this case. But they should know better. But we're going to hear from someone that did know Renita. We're going to listen to Jonathan and what he has to say about that day. How Jonathan feels about what he did. And I have to say I was pretty surprised when I heard this confession. You know, as much as I hate Jonathan and I think he's a piece of crap, I'm going to give him a little bit of credit here. And I might make some comments in between his interview, and I hope that doesn't bother you or interrupt the flow of his confession, but it's really important for me to put some of these things into context. I'd like you to comment on them as well, because there's so many interesting conversations and insight that come from your experience and your perspective, and that's why I do these videos, for you. So feel free, if you're brave enough, to leave a comment below. Also, just want you to know, as annoying as it is, I might have to censor some of Jonathan's words, and you will most likely think that's ridiculous, but the algorithm can potentially think that I need some kind of age restriction. So with that being said, I might have to bleep out things like a SHOOT out. Again, sometimes it's ridiculous beyond belief that I have to do baby talk, but without further ado, let's listen.
Today is 4/12/2018. Time now is 1:58 p.m. Present with me is Jonathan Robinson. Jonathan, what's your date of birth?
9/3/81.
All right. Jonathan, I'm not trying to belittle you in any way, okay? Ask everybody these questions that come in here, okay? How far did you go in school?
No.
Did you graduate?
No, sir.
No? Are you under the influence of any alcohol or narcotics?
I ain't gonna use that up though. I ain't gonna use it up. I was, but I know what I was doing.
No, I'm saying, are you high or drunk right now? I mean, can you complete a thought process right now?
Yes,
you
sir.
can?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know where we're at?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you read and write?
Yes, sir.
What I'm going to do, you read along with me, okay? Can you see that? Okay, you are hereby under arrest for your part in the offense of second-degree murder. I hereby notify you have the right to remain silent. You're not required to make any statement unless you want to do so voluntarily. Anything you say shall be used against you in a court of law. You also have the right to consult with your attorney and have him present with you. If you cannot afford an attorney, he won't be appointed to represent you. While you are not required to make a statement, you may waive those rights as explained to you, and you are given the privilege of saying anything you want to about this case. Now, with this understanding, waiving those rights explained to you, do you wish to make a statement to how this happened? You do?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I need to be charged with first degree.
Why?
Because I planned it, I knew what I was going to do.
All right. We'll just start.
You have to take into account that this was also an attempt on officers' lives as well. So you see what he's being charged with. I'm surprised by what he confessed to. This was the part I was surprised about, even though there is no way I would ever look at him in a good light. Cowards would stay quiet. But he said, I think I should be charged with first degree. They asked him why. You heard him say that he knew what he was going to do. I've got to at least give him a little credit there. He took responsibility for it.
From the beginning.
It's like, you know, when you just say your wife, you know your wife not strong. And you know people mess with your wife because they know she's not mentally stable. That there ain't no excuse for what I did, but I done hurt her so much, and I just got tired of people hurting her. She going through mental stages, and it's like, and everybody laughing at her. And I got tired of it. I told them, I don't want to laugh at you no more. I'm tired of hurting her. And ain't no excuse for what I did. I hate it, but man, I'm supposed to protect her. I'm supposed to protect her. That's my job, protect her.
Tell me what you mean by that, though.
Okay, man, the girl, we have dealings. But it's like a person know, if you know what putting buttons and make them go over the edge and make them be suicidal and stuff, and you still do it, it's like you have no regard for her life. You know she'll go, you know she'll take all these drugs, you know she'll take all these pills and kill herself, and you want to go on social media and bash her, make her look bad, and just, I told her I'd never let nobody hurt her like that no more. I told her, no more.
He's talking about the fact that Renita is putting Rika into basically a nervous breakdown and making her have to go to mental facilities, pushing Rika's buttons because she knows how. He wanted to be a quote-unquote man when it comes to Rika, and says that Renita had no regard for Rika's life when this man had utter disregard for Renita's life. Like he said, there's no excuse. I don't know about you. I can hear the pain in Jonathan's voice. I think he does have remorse for what he did. I mean, to me, he has more remorse than some of the people online talking crap about Renita.
What happened today?
I asked her, why do you keep doing this? I asked her, I texted her, I called her, why? Stop. She wouldn't stop. I told my girl, I said, I'm going to tell her, I'm going to take care of her for you because she hurt you. And I hurt you, but she daddy won't let up and stop messing with you.
But what happened, though?
Shot her. Shot her.
Jonathan is speaking. These are his words. This is what he was thinking, and there's so much more to this interview. I just wanted to pause here and say, listen to his emotions. That's not fake. He's beside himself. At this point, I can only assume this, but it seems like he might be reliving the moment. Even though he's a badass and he's wielding a weapon, and he has power, and he finally has control, there seems to still be a part of him that's human. And when he's looking back on that moment, that's really painful to know you inflicted that harm. He has to remember what's flashing through his mind.
Okay, so you get to the house, what happens?
I asked her why you steady messing with her. And I told her to go live and tell her, I told her apologize to her.
Apologize to who?
My girl, famous now, famous. Tell everybody you sorry. Stop with her.
And what'd she say?
She started apologizing.
And then what happened?
Just what? Wait a minute. She was apologizing, you know. The police came. I don't know. I don't know if they were trying to sneak up on me or what. I just seen them by a truck, a red truck, and we started shooting. And it's like, I started shooting. Then I shot her in the leg. I shot her in the leg. Then I shot her again somewhere else. I can't really remember. I just know. I don't. Really, I know, but I can't just. I know when the police, I seen the police by a red truck, I shot at them, and I turned around and shot her.
Where did this happen at my house?
Oh, the bedroom, the living room. I remember, I don't know. You know, it was in the bedroom and the living room. The first room you walk in, out the front door, that room, and the bedroom.
How did you see the police?
I don't know. It's like when I don't know what I was gonna do something. I don't know. It's just like when I opened the door, it's just like I seen a red truck and I seen police and I just started shooting.
What happened after that? After you shot the police, what happened after that?
I think I know in the leg, and I don't know well. I never really seen why. I just know I shot something. I seen blood.
Did she say anything after that? All right, what happened after that?
I just started shooting at the police.
From where? Where were they at?
Everywhere. I was shooting everywhere.
What were you using?
My SK.
How'd you get to the house?
In my car.
Who was with you? You were by yourself? Alright, so when you get there in your car, where do you go?
I kick her door in.
Which door?
Not the one I came out of, but the other one.
In the front of the house?
The left one or the right one?
The right one.
Okay. Alright, so what happens when you go in the house? Who's in there?
Her mama, her, and I didn't know her brother was in there until she said, Marcy in the closet. Then I told Marcy come out.
Did you shoot into the closet?
No, I wasn't. No, it's just like, it wasn't about, it just was about a person hurting a person that I love dearly that I'm supposed to protect.
Alright, so when you go in the house though, what do you see and where do you go and what happens?
I go in her room.
Which one is that?
That's the bedroom with the back door to it.
Okay.
I go in that room and I'm still asking her like, why is you steady doing it? Why? So her mama come in there. I don't know what she said, but when she said something, I shot the gun. Cause she didn't see me come in there with the gun. I didn't even know she was in there. Mm-hmm. It's like when she came in, when I heard her say something, I just shot the gun.
At her?
No, I didn't never seen him. I just heard him.
Her mom.
Yeah.
Where'd you point the gun at?
It was like, I just had it pointed at a wall or something.
Okay.
In the bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I never seen it. I just heard him. I just heard her say, I'm going to call the police. But she went or nothing.
Can you imagine as a mother standing there and realizing that this man's going to take your daughter's life? The daughter that you raised and you protected. Talk about needing to protect someone. Jonathan didn't need to protect Rika in that moment. Renita needed protection, and there was no one there to protect her. A parent's job is to protect their child. And what pained me the most is knowing that in those moments, there was nothing that anyone could do. Her mother and her brother had to watch this unfold.
And then keep going from there.
And I was asking her, why are you steady bothering her? Why is you know she her mental state is not strong like yours is. And she was like, I don't know if she thought I'd do it because of our history. But then too, because she like counted herself, she was like, after she kept saying, and I'm like, you really don't care, do it? She was like, seeing my eyes, something. She was like, Jonathan, are you for real? I'm like, yeah, man, you hurting her. You just started tearing her down. And I'm trying to build up, but you tearing her down, and it is affected everybody, bro. And she was like, okay, or something. And I know when I had called my girl on the phone, and I told her she gonna apologize to you. And she was there saying,
what were you talking about? You went live. What does that mean?
okay. I think this was Sunday or something. We went live. Okay, I went live on her Facebook. But she went live. I went live. She went live on Facebook. Talking about each other. She know, I've been knowing her for probably 5 years. And she know the buttons. I don't know, man. know, man.
Why were you shooting at the police?
I wanted to die.
Or why'd you give up? Why'd you
I
come
had no
outside?
bullets. And Rika told me to.
She was said what?
Rika told me to. So Rika.
All right. When did y'all start dating?
Who? Sarika. Renita who?
Renita.
I've been on her for about 5 years.
Has it been an off and on relationship or what?
She never just really. She never really been my girlfriend. But she always been like.
Y'all ever lived together?
This is my own interpretation, but I felt like right here he was thinking about her kids. Because when the officer asked him, have you guys ever lived together? When you're thinking of that, when you're thinking of home life together, something in me thinks that at that moment, her kids flashed before him. And the thought that she always wanted him to be a part of her life and her family.
Let me ask you this, just plain simple. Why did you shoot her?
She wasn't gonna let me be great with Rika. She wasn't gonna let me.
When you walked into the house, what did you think was going to happen?
I was gonna kill her.
But what did you think was going to happen to you after that?
Wow, I don't care.
You didn't care?
So he was willing to lay down his life and take Renita's for Rika and her well-being.
At what point did you plan or decide that this is how you were going to handle it? This morning? Was it Sunday?
This morning, when I woke up and it was steady calling my phone, texting my phone.
She was?
And I told her to, I just said, stop. It's like, it's like the only way Sarika gonna be great is if she was out the way. That's how I seen it. I ain't seen no other way.
This is what I meant by this man did this because he doesn't know how to resolve his own conflicts. He's a grown man that doesn't know how to resolve or end this situation. He thinks the only way he can resolve it is to get rid of Renita, when actually all he has to do is to learn to control himself, learn how to be emotionally mature enough to have some willpower and to make a real commitment. But those were things he was not capable of.
Died, man.
How long have you and Sharika been together?
6 years or something.
You got kids together?
Where'd you get the gun from?
I've been here. That gun, I haven't seen that gun in 3 years.
Or where was it at this morning? How'd you get it?
How'd I get my gun?
Yeah.
I went under my auntie house and got it.
What was it doing under her house?
Cause I've been had it for I bought it off the street and I've been had it under there. I actually forgot it was under there. Cause I've been in Houston
And when'd you go and get it?
this morning when I went and bought me some bullets.
Where'd you buy the bullets at?
What pawn shop on Love Market.
Which one? There's a couple up there.
The one with all them guns in it. With
How many bullets you buy?
40,
Was that how many cones with the box or what?
20 a box.
You bought 2 boxes? Why'd you buy 2 boxes?
Because I wanted to have a shootout with the police.
Did they shoot back at you?
I don't know. They couldn't see me.
Why didn't you step outside then?
Because I was telling everybody I love them before I go.
You were on the phone or on Facebook Live?
On the phone, my mama kept calling me.
At what point did you run out of bullets?
I don't even know if I ran out of bullets.
So what got you to stop shooting?
It's Rico.
Alright. What windows did you shoot out of? Or doors or whatever?
All of them.
What were you aiming at?
Police.
Do you remember how many officers you fired at?
A lot of them.
Were you aiming?
I just was shooting. I ain't no marksman or nothing.
So this morning, you woke up where?
In my mama's house.
And all this phone stuff started happening. Whose car is that you're driving?
What car?
The car that you drove over to the house with.
It's my car.
That's your car? All right. Where'd you go first thing this morning when you got in the car?
El Dorado.
What'd you do at El Dorado?
I gambled a little bit, trying to clear my mind. Just not, you know. That's why I went El Dorado.
Okay. What happened there?
I just was gambling, just trying to pass time and clear my mind, and that's all I was doing.
Okay. Where'd you go after that?
Huh?
I was gonna say, did it help clear your mind?
And to people steady, and when I left from there, that's when I went and got my bullets.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and got my gun.
And then when you got the gun, what happened?
I went to her house.
Straight there? Did she know you were coming? Did anybody know you were going over there?
I don't know, because I told her, okay. Because she steady was calling my phone, I wasn't answering it.
Mm-hmm.
Last time she called. I don't know.
Have you told her before today that you were going to do anything like this? You've never threatened a shooter before or anything else? All right.
Here's something I found interesting. I cannot tell what his answer was because we can't see him in the video. I don't know if he's shaking his head or nodding his head, meaning I don't know if he's saying yes or no. The officer asked, have you ever told her you were going to do something like this before? I kind of find it hard to believe that he hadn't because of the way that she was posting on Facebook. One of the posts that stood out to me was this one. From only a few days before this happened, it's really morbid. It says, at my funeral, it will be IDs strictly enforced and checked because some y'all coming to make sure I'm really dead. Hashtag family blood members only. Weird. This was one of the days that she saw Jonathan. If she wasn't thinking about the situation with him, why would she be writing something like that? That's what I want to know. Why?
You're telling me you killed her because that was the only way that your girlfriend now wouldn't be bothered by this past relationship?
Yeah.
Were they arguing back and forth? You lived in Houston up until when? When did you come back to Shreveport?
2-3 days ago.
Why did you come out to Shreveport?
Because my girl got into it about that.
So over Facebook arguing, y'all drove back to Shreveport.
Oh, me.
Where was she at? You left her down there? Yeah.
She was having a nervous breakdown.
Why did this bother y'all so bad about whatever she was saying on Facebook?
And you ever seen, I don't know, it's like, you ever seen a person that you love so much with all your heart be hurt to their core? To their core?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wasn't used to that. I had to literally go to Houston. I was down. My girl jumped out of her car, left her daughter in the car at the Greyhound station and got out and just started walking in downtown Houston. I had to find her. She's not stable. She's not stable by far. And she can't handle a lot of stuff. It takes her over the edge. And I told her, don't let nobody, stop letting people get you where you at. But it's like once she get there, she put blocks up. She don't have nothing to do with the world. She can't take care of the kids. She can't do nothing.
And something else I want to know is, why did it bother him so bad? What someone's saying on Facebook, it's like you want to inflict this pain upon yourself, and I don't know why. Other times you just really can't get away from it unless you delete apps off your phone because people will tag you. To me, there's just so much to the story I wish I knew. So much behind the scenes we won't ever know. But what we do know is social media played a big role.
But so y'all were mad down in Houston. You were mad. Why did you come back to Shreveport? What were you gonna do to solve this issue by leaving Houston?
She put me out. But she didn't put me out. I left. I ain't gonna say she put me out. I left.
Did you have another place to go down there?
In Houston?
Uh-huh. So you come back to Shreveport Sunday, right? Is that what you said? Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah. What the date is?
Oh, Thursday.
Yeah, I've been here for about, let me see. I see my brother in jail in Houston on Sunday. Yeah, I came back here on Monday. I didn't even know my girl was down here today. I didn't know.
How'd she get up here?
I don't know. I didn't even know she was here.
Did you tell her something and that's why she came up here?
No, she was literally, I called her and told her while I was headed over there. I say, baby. She's like, what? I say, baby. I say, man, I love you, man. But I say, I'm finna let everybody just laughing at you, joking on you. I say, baby, I'm gonna make, you ain't gonna hurt no more for people laughing at you. She was like, what you finna do, John? I say, man, I'm gonna keep you, because she always take everything joke, just like her life is entertainment. And she was like, Jonathan, where you at? And I'm like, man.
What do you think about this? The fact that he told Rika what he was planning to do. Was there any way she could have stopped it? Does she feel guilty? Why did she drive from Houston to Louisiana? Why wouldn't she call the police? We don't know. That would worry me if my partner was enraged, especially knowing that it was me, who he was so upset about being hurt. In the end, like he said, she was the one that stopped him, but she was also the one that set this emotion, her reaction to what Renita was posting online. Isn't there anything she could have done to stop it before this? I really question that. Not to put the blame game on anyone. Again, not blaming, because Rika's a victim in this too. She was hurt. She had to lose a lot. She lost Jonathan in the end, but this is on him. These were his actions. Still, I would like to know your thoughts.
I say don't worry about it, baby. They're not going to laugh at you no more. They ain't gonna, nobody going to do nothing to you no more. And I don't know, it was an officer, Rochelle, something. But I didn't know she went to the city, the police to talk to her. Oh.
But you got on Facebook Live inside the house?
No, she did.
Whose account was that on?
That was on her brother's account.
Whose phone was she on?
Her brother's.
Did you tell her to get on Facebook, or how did...
Yeah. That's your life. That's what you like. Go on now.
Well, what was she saying that was making you and your girlfriend so mad? You refer to her making jokes on
It's
this.
not for what she was saying. It bothered me. It was more of what my girl, how she felt and what she went through.
Well, what are you referring to? Because I don't know.
Okay, like I say, my girl is so sensitive, man. You can put a stick pin and blood come out your hand, she'll cry. That's how sensitive she is. And a person know that, and if a person know that about her, they know.
So tell me about, like, an example of what she did that would upset her.
She just was talking about her mental state, to my how she go crazy, go on the 10th floor. She ain't got, it's just that.
Is that true?
Yeah. She done been to the 10th floor several times.
Okay.
And, you know, a person, that's just like if I know your weaknesses. Something that'll send you over the edge, I use it. That's what she did.
Okay.
The officer asked him, was it true, what Renita was saying? And his answer was yes. So that means he didn't want the truth to come out about him or Rika. And I understand that's really sensitive stuff to be putting out there publicly, that your mental health is being used against you. And Jonathan said Renita knew full well that Rika was not well, and she would just continue talking crap about her and using that against her. What do you think about that part?
What do you think that Renita did that?
Because me and her had sex Friday. And she have always wanted more with me, but it has never been more than just...
Oh, where did this happen on Friday?
At her house.
I thought you were in Houston.
No, I left Houston. I came to Shreveport Friday.
All right.
I came to Shreveport Friday then, because we had sex Friday and Saturday. Because I went to a party downtown at the Styles Bar Saturday.
Was she down there?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Styles.
Styles, okay.
Well, did y'all two get in an argument or anything? Did she tell your girlfriend that y'all had sex?
Pretty much through social media, being messy.
Okay. Is that the gist of it? Is y'all had sex, your girlfriend heard about it, and now she was pissed off, and now you were mad at her for putting that out there?
Wasn't mad. If you can hack into a Facebook account, you will see where I went live and Nunu went live. I just hated when she wasn't lit up off my girl.
Do you know which Facebook accounts Nunu uses? This would have been on.
Renita Williams.
Renita?
You said she went live and you went live. So did you have your phone and both of y'all were on Facebook at the same time?
No. I went live and then she went live.
So did you post something to Facebook from inside the house?
No, not from her house. I was in Houston then.
Okay, I'm talking about today. That's what I was trying to get straight.
No, her brother did.
Okay, so the only thing that was posted on social media was off her brother's phone.
Yeah.
Today. All right. When you went to the pawn shop, what did you do when you went in there?
I went got my bullets.
What did you ask them for?
7.62 or 3.39 for SKS.
Did you specify what kind of bullet you wanted or what? You just said, I want that caliber.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say I want the cheap ones or you didn't want the good ones or... And at that point, you knew you were going over to her house to shoot her. Were you going to shoot yourself? Okay.
I'm going to go back. During a statement a while ago, you said when the police showed up, we started shooting. Who did you mean we? Is there somebody else that was shooting?
I don't think so. No, not where I was.
Okay. And to your knowledge, you don't know if the police fired back or not?
I don't think so. I think I heard some shots, but it was way after that was not first seen when it first happened.
Mm-hmm.
I heard some probably later on during the ordeal, but I don't know.
Okay.
Did you ever come outside the house? Did you shoot any from outside the house?
What you mean?
Did you ever walk outside the door and shoot?
I think I might have been standing right in the door.
Okay. Listen, there's an officer that shot behind the house. From what window?
The bathroom window.
Okay.
Did you bust the window out or just shoot through the window?
Through it.
Did you have to move the blinds or something? Because there was blinds, I think, in that bathroom.
No. Yeah, it was a blind. Actually, I thought he seen me.
Well, what did you see?
I seen like 3 polices.
And they were behind the house or what?
That's like the side port, I don't know. Right where the bathroom window.
What did you do when you saw one?
I started shooting.
So the only time you shot is when you saw the police, like in different places around the house. And at one point there was a couple of them running across the street.
Mm-hmm.
What did they look like?
This red t-shirt, blue jeans. I'm in my right mind.
I'm just asking.
It's just some stuff I mean I can remember.
Yeah.
I know one was red t-shirt, blue jeans, vest, and I can't really just know what the other one had on.
But like the ones who got there at first, you knew they were the police. Why? Like you said they were standing over there by the truck. How'd you know they were the police?
I think I seen a shield. Did somebody have a shield or something?
At some point, I think so.
No, I think that's what I seen. A shield.
Okay.
I shot a police too. Bad.
Shot in the arm. What were you trying to do when you were shooting at the police?
You know, you watch TV, so I actually thought the police would be faster than what they was to come in the house.
You thought that they were going to come in?
Yeah.
What were you going to do when they came in the house?
I'd have made them they would have shot me.
Why would they have shot you though?
Because I know they would have shot me. I'd have been shot by police before and didn't do nothing.
But you thought that they were going to come in the house, right?
Yeah, I thought they'd have came faster than... It like if I said it, the more I said, I think they wouldn't have came. They would tell strategizing.
Yeah. But when they came in the house, why would they have shot you?
Because I would have been shot at them or pointing my gun or something, they would have shot me.
Okay. But the longer this stretched out, you thought they were strategizing. What do you mean by that? What do you think they were going to do?
They was getting angles, they was doing their police work.
Okay. And that was not good for you, or what?
No.
But what was your plan then when they were getting their angles and coming up with a plan? What was your
I was
plan?
on the phone. I mean, I was at a position to, well, I mean.
But if they would have come in there, you would have killed
I mean, yeah.
them. All right, but you came on out. Where'd you put the at?
Hallway somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan, is there anything else you can remember or anything you want to add to your statement before we stop?
I think I need to be charged with first degree.
Do you know the difference between second and first?
Yes, I do. I knew what I was doing. I premeditated it. I planned it.
All right. Elaborate on it. What, I mean...
I know what I was doing. I was in my right mind. I knew I was going to kill her.
All right. So you think you need to be charged with first?
Yeah. I know what I was doing. I ain't dumb. I ain't dumb by far.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
And that's the end of the interview. So as you can see, he said a lot. He said way more than I thought he would. And I was surprised that he kept pushing them to change it to first degree. He knew what he was going to do. He knew what was going to happen, and he chose to do it anyway. I know that this has been a very emotional case. I'm not done yet. I need to show you a couple more things, including I actually have a clip of the live stream that was made the day after this. It was made by Renita's own brother, Jamarcy. I thought it was really important to share this. I think it'll give you some insight because context. And it's short. He was there.
It's crazy. It was crazy. Like the bond we built, it was just so tough, like the way, like thinking about it now. Like not thinking about it when she here. Cause it's crazy. Like you're not thinking about the bond y'all got when she here. It's just a bond. It's just that's what it is. Like it's just life. But when you lose somebody, you think about everything. You think about everything. And you think about most of the previous stuff that happened the day before. And the day before she passed, my mama had made some spaghettis. You know, we don't play with my mama cooking. Like, if me and New cook, if I cook, she'll eat. If she cook, I eat. But if Nita cook, everybody finna eat. You finna try to eat 2 or 3 times. So Nita came over here. That's why my mama ended up being here when it happened, because I had to take the kids to the school. I remember going to the car with no shoes on. I had my socks on. So I told King to go get the keys, you know, if I can drop him off at school. So when he came back to the car, the last time King seen his mama, she was giving him $8 or $9 to give to me to put in the gas tank. That was the last time King seen his mama. That last month was the last time that Maya seen, because she fixed her hair in the front. Like, I had the school clothes ready and got them up or whatever, but that was the last time. Jada, I ended up waking Jada up at 5:40 because she got to be to school early. So I ended up waking Jada up. She ain't really just even go to sleep. I think she wanted to put the sweater on and left. See, when she come back from New York, she was winning with everything. From the clothes, drugs, to the gambling. She was winning with everything. I'm talking about, like, hand down. And I seen that. I was like, oh, this bitch on her boss shit. You know, me thinking about it now, I'm processing it now differently because she gone. But when she was here, I wasn't looking at it like that. Like, man, she hadn't mastered it. Like, everything she was doing, she hadn't mastered everything she was doing. Like, from the gambling to the clothes, she hadn't mastered that bit. That what fucked my head up. Like, man, that bitch mastered that bit. Like, she got that bitch clutch. She went and gambling. She go gambling. They playing $40 a hand. So you know what that is. Ain't no $5 a hand, ain't no $10 a hand. Number one, they playing $40 a hand. I'll walk in and watch her win 3 hands in a row. Y'all know how much that win it is. $40 a hand, 5 people at the table, 3 hands in a row. She got up and left. So far ahead with the money, I'm like, damn, like, with them kids, that's one thing she never played about. Nobody ever knew in the world, no matter what, them kids.
As you can see, She was very close to her brother. He has tears running down his face. He was proud of her. In his eyes, she was doing well. Yes, it may not have been things that some people respect, but to him it didn't matter. It seems like the more independence she got, the more it helped her break away from Jonathan. I don't think he was able to process exactly what happened yet because he's able to control his emotions so well, even though you can see him tearing up. He says, you know, you don't think about that bond. You don't think about those things because you take it for granted. You don't think about someone until they're gone, especially him talking about the very last time that each one of her children saw her. That made me tear up. The last time she saw her son is when he was getting some money to give her brother for gas to take them to school. The last time she saw her baby girl was when she was doing her hair. And as we're coming to the end, I wanted to show you a little bit of her funeral. So many people came out to support her and they wore pink and white. It was such a beautiful funeral, completely bittersweet with the fact that this mother has to lay her child to rest and raise her grandbabies and do that because of the love that she had for Renita. But she also made this funeral beautiful for her, as beautiful as she could. Everyone was left with so much sorrow and pain.
Hallelujah, you may be seated. We're here to celebrate and to pray. And I'm grateful to God for this opportunity because God knew this day was coming. God is good.
What I want to leave you with is what I read on Renita's mother's Facebook page after Renita's death. This is where the tears really started to pour out for me personally as a mom, and just realizing the impact this death had. And the first one was this picture. I'm really not sure, as young as her daughter was, if she even knew what she was standing in front of. But she's in front of a poster of Renita's face, and it's just saying in loving memory with her name, her birth date, and the day she died. I'm going to read you some of the posts I thought were significant starting around July 3rd of 2018. This was just a few months after Renita died. Her mother wrote, "Can we have one more talk, please? Just to talk to the person you love one more time. What someone would give for that." And then a couple days later, this is the one that every time I read it, I can't hold it together. I wish I could have Siri read it or something because it's that bad. This is the one I was referring to on Instagram stories that made me have to take a long break. I just started to cry so hard. But Anita shared this photo of Renita's children. Oh man, this is so hard for me. She said, "Hello, baby girl. We got them. Don't worry. Keep on resting." Every single time I read that, I tear up. Especially when I have to read it out loud. If I think about it, I just start to cry. Anita stepped up. And that's what's absolutely amazing. These children are so lucky that they had Anita in their life because she cares. And she tries to do the same things that Renita did for them. And you can tell. On July 25th, she said, "Just don't know how bad I miss you." And I know these Facebook posts, sometimes people say, why do people do this? It's not real. They're not talking to the person, you know? And I question that too. It is really interesting. You know, when you have like a relationship or a breakup or something going on, a lot of times people will make these status updates that are very vague. And they're not even for the person. The person's probably not even reading it. Like we know Renita is no longer with us. But it's this interesting phenomenon, another thing about social media. On July 9th, she said, "Well, New, it's official. I just picked up your death certificate. It hurts me to put those papers in my hands. God, just give me strength." Yep, we know she's not speaking to Renita. She's speaking to whoever's there. But what you get in return is you get comments, you get people relating, you get people like us who are talking about it years later and identifying with the pain and understanding where she's coming from. And that means so much. It means you're not standing alone on an island of pain. Others are standing with you. And I think that's one of the reasons we love social media, even though it's this double-edged sword. It's because we get the feedback. It might not always be good, but when it is good, it means so much. It means we're connected to others. When I see you in the comments, that's how I feel. One of my favorite posts was from August 4th. This is what I mean by Anita stepping in and carrying on Renita's legacy. Their church, the same one that put on the funeral, they gifted Anita and the 3 children an all-expenses paid trip to Disney World. And it's such a nice gesture. Anita posted a picture and said, "Day 2 of our vacation, more pics coming." Look, can you see the way she dressed them all alike? Just like Renita would. Even Anita is wearing the same shirt. They all have their little Mickey and Minnie shirts on. And on August 13th, she said, "Good morning, world. Just stopping by to tell my daughter Nunu, we got them. Keep resting, baby. Your support team ain't missed a beat." And they hadn't. Anita has them in cute clothing. They look like they're in private school or something at this point because those look like uniforms to me. Regardless, she has them dressed nice. Their hair's done. And it's just a beautiful way to carry on Renita's memory and to honor her. I did notice that Anita stopped posting as frequently. But on September 20th, it says, "Hello, world. These 2 right here, I swear, I don't have enough energy." She's just talking about how they're feisty. And they remind her of her own children. They remind her of the sassiness that Renita had. And it's like she's getting to live that all over again. On September 26th, she said, "Have you ever just missed someone that you love but you can't tell them? Y'all, I miss her." Now, this is when it's getting close to Renita's birthday, which is September 27th. This is the day before, so you can only imagine what it's like to remember the day that you brought your daughter home from the hospital. Remembering looking into your baby's eyes for the very first time. And I can tell you, that's most likely what Anita was reminiscing about. All the years raising Renita. Right now, I'm going to show you what it looked like when Renita's mother came out of that house and she was talking to police after she realized what had just happened to her daughter. I'm going to pause the video real fast. This is Anita being guided out of the vicinity of the house. She was inside the house when all of this was happening, and now she is speaking with police. There's no audio here, but you can see how distraught she is. When I look at that pain, that she's inconsolable, that she doesn't believe what just happened, that she probably doesn't even believe this is reality, that it's a bad dream. Because I can see that on her face. There were moments when I was researching this case that I took those long breaks to regroup, and I just hope I never have to feel that pain. I don't wish it on any of you. She said, "I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you've got a loved one that you're not talking to or have a misunderstanding, be the bigger person even if they don't want to hear it. Do your part because you don't know when it's your last time. Say what you want to say. Don't keep it in. Don't wait." She knows best. She's living it. She's giving you that advice. She's putting it out there. And the same day, she said, "I swear to God, if it wasn't for these babies, I would have thrown in the towel. I miss you just that much. God forgive me if I'm wrong." You know what she's alluding to. It's absolutely heartbreaking. We're ending with these last 2 posts. One from around Thanksgiving. Anita said, "Well, hello world. First time without you, new. Now these holidays don't mean nothing to me. I wish I could fix your plate one more time. Mama loves and misses you so much," which is so sad. Then the very same day she says, "Nunu, you didn't make it to the table." Wow. That just cut into me because I got this visual of everyone sitting around the table and you're wanting to have this beautiful Thanksgiving and then you just notice this chair that's empty. And that must be devastating. So as I'm pulling it together, and I hope you're still here with me. I just want to end on how everything concluded. Now, I obviously don't want to go into more about Jonathan. I don't even really care to talk about anything else about him. But of course, I want to tell you how the case concluded and how everything was resolved. It ends up because he did make that confession, he was able to come up with a plea deal. Part of that deal meant he would not be sentenced to death, and instead, he would be sentenced to life in prison with no opportunity to get parole. It's really hard, but there is an interview with Anita. I want to play it for you. It's short. It just shows you what kind of person she is. He had apologized to her a number of times, not just during the court proceedings. This woman was able to forgive him. I don't know if I could do it. He said he was sorry to police. He said he was sorry to Anita. I just don't know if I'd have the strength to forgive him.
With nobody, because I knew what I wanted in my heart and what I believed in. I didn't believe in killing nobody. I never believed in killing nobody. Not just him, nobody. Not even an enemy. So why? No, I'm glad justice has been served. Everything is gone. Everything is okay. So I feel a lot better now. Now I can rest. Now me and my family can go on with our life, you know. It's over with. It's no more. So it's nothing else to talk. The decision has been made between us and everybody else. So we feel a lot better. It hurts me. It hurts me so bad. By killing Jonathan, it's not going to bring Ranita back. None whatsoever. So decision has been made, and that's what it is.
When did the DA let you know that this would happen?
We have been talking about it by months. We have been talking about months. He had asked me my decision, and he gave me his decision. So at the end of the day, the decision that was made was my decision. So no one else could look at the DA, no one else, no other different. I made that decision. So that is what it is.
Did Robinson reach out to you anyway?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I never let no one know. It was privacy. Every time he reached out to me, I never let no one know. This wasn't the first time he apologized to me. It's about the third time with letters and writing. I just never let no one know what was going on with me. From this time on, it was just private. Whatever went on, it was private between me and my family. Yes, he did reach out, and I forgive him. I forgive him, but I never will forget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Two things I want to leave you with. Social media is a double-edged sword. Just know that you can walk away at any time. And when you do, nothing online matters.